Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to the Mompreneur HQ. We are so glad to have you today on this Wednesday at 2 p.m., the first Wednesday in May, this new month of the year. If you are celebrating your birthday this month, make sure you drop your birthday in the birthday post so that we can shout you out for your birthday. And thank you for showing up today. Thank you for checking in. Um, the question of the day is, what does it really mean? What does mental health awareness really mean? What does that include? Why do we say that? Because this is May, amongst a number of the celebrations or recognitions of the month, like Teachers Appreciation Week, which I tend to love now that I've been on the teacher assistant side. But this month is also Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're just going to talk about, what does mental health awareness mean? Um, so if you are here joining us for the first time, please go ahead and drop in the uh, drop down below in the comments that you are here, hashtag live. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. Either way, I'm glad you're joining us and I'm glad you're getting this information that we're sharing today. If you are joining us for the first time, I am Rashida Green. I am the founder and CEO of Get Right Coaching, and we host this wonderful community, Mompreneur HQ, where we help moms to start, grow, scale home-based virtual businesses so that they can build the life of their dreams without neglecting themselves or their families in the process. We do that through this community, through coaching, through content, and up and coming courses, right? So if you are a female entrepreneur, you're a mom entrepreneur, and you need some assistance with getting started or some direction on where you should start, then you are definitely in the right place because we can help you to do that. All right. So we know about physical health, right? We know that the psychology of physical health, you know, but even this group, Mompreneur HQ, it's a group that I formed to be a holistic approach to mom entrepreneurs, to helping mom entrepreneurs. Why? Because Mompreneur HQ, and you tell me now that I started talking about it, you tell me what you think about Mompreneur HQ being your new BFFs, and let me just share that. Um, so with Mompreneur HQ, we talk about business, B, family, F, finances, F. So your BFF. And then we talk about S, self-care, right? So this is the place to be. This is where your BFFs are: business, family, finances, and self-care. That's what we talk about in our community. So if you think that's kind of cool, just drop it in the hashtag if you in the comment field. If not, you can always share some additional ideas on how we can spin this whole BFFs approach. Anyway, let me tell you, I've just been thinking about a little bit of everything because I've had a lot of time to think. So I'll get to that later on in our conversation. But so there are many forms of wholeness and wellness. And a lot of times, most often, people think just about the physical health, the physiological health in the most prevalent, that seems to be the most prevalent conversation, right? We're talking about diet, we're talking about exercise, we're talking about genetics and exposure to different to dangerous substances and um chemicals, and talk about disease and things like that for physical health. So we know how important it is to be physically well. But then we don't kind of think about the mental health aspect, because that is a part of who we are: physical health, our spiritual well-being, whatever that may be for you. You would still need to have a spiritual awareness in order to feel one with yourself, to feel like you're part of a bigger plan, to feel like, you have a purpose, and that you can help others because of your experiences, and that you can impact others because of the well of abundance coming from your heart, and even from your wealth, physical wealth. Right? So you have your physical health and wellness, you have your spiritual health, and then you also have mental health. Your brain is a machine, literally. And so much goes on in your mind from day to day. And when your machine gets bogged down, it starts showing up. It can start showing up in your physical. It can start showing up in your spiritual when your mind is not refreshed and doesn't get a chance to recover, or is overwhelmed with negative thoughts, um, self doubt, all of these things that can make your mind just not well. That also includes the same things as physiological health, right? Your physical health. Because there can be some issues, not issues, but there can be some genetic concerns, or some genetic, I'm not getting the word right now, but genetics can lead to mental health issues, as well as trauma. Any traumas that you may have experienced. It could be that you witnessed it firsthand, or that you experienced it firsthand. So those traumas have an effect on your mental health. I mean, even these children and adults, this pandemic has had an effect on the mental health of many. Being enclosed that first year, where you couldn't have contact, you had to socially distance, you couldn't go here, you couldn't go there, and then they finally relaxed that you can go here and there with your mask on, and it that, especially for children, was very difficult, especially for introverted, for extroverted people. Introverted people is still having its effects, but introverted people may be more used to and feel comfort in not interacting with a lot of people all the time. But the extroverts who were used to going out every weekend, hanging out and going here and there, and then being required or requested to stay at home and not engage physically, that was traumatic experience that really did take a toll on many people's mental health. Children who were out of school for a whole year, or whatever time frame that they were out of school, learning virtually, then having to be reacclimated to dealing with other people, and literally having to interact and share and communicate more effectively and differently, because now they're not on the computer screen where they can just go off camera or go on mute. They had to get reacclimated to being students. And a lot of that um, went well for students. But then we can see for other students on the news that it did not go well, that they came back to school with a vengeance and came back a little hardened by not being around other people. So, you know, this whole mental health, it is a part just as important as your physical and spiritual health. So, your mental health can be affected by forms of disease, addiction, abuse. These things can affect your mental health. And as I mentioned before, self doubt, negative self talk, these things that we're pouring back into our own heads, that is wearing our brains down and making us believe that we're less than, or that we're not enough. Those negative thoughts affect our overall mental health. If someone says, "Oh, you're looking great today, why just today?" Because of maybe some self-awareness of something that's going on with you, and that nobody else is seeing, but you just know, you just feel in your heart they must have seen it. And no, it was just a compliment. But because of the negative self-talk that you may be experiencing, or the lack of self-love, you react a certain way. So all of these things are going on in your mind. And if not addressed, if not catered to, then you can definitely see yourself in a mental health crisis. Um, Mental health awareness begins with recognizing that mental health is a part of a combination of systems. And we talked about your physical, your spiritual, and your mental. They all are a part of a system called you, right? And they're designed to work in harmony. They're designed to work together. But when one fails, the other is adversely affected. So if your physical health fails, your mental health may decline as well. And the same with your mental health. If your mental health fails, your physical health may fail or decline. Your spiritual health, if you're not spiritually strong, sometimes you can fall victim to other things because you're not spiritually strong to stand in who you are. So, once a behavior associated with mental health is experienced or witnessed, then that's when a diagnosis is issued. So, it's usually after something has happened, something has been identified, then you have a diagnosis that there is a mental health breakdown or issue. And the term itself, a mental health, generally refers to how someone is feeling. Disruptions in how people feel fall into mood categories. So again, the mental health, how you feel, ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, how you react to a compliment. Those are all moods, those are feelings, those are things that can cause you to have these mental health interruptions. And that's how people see mental health, those mental health disruptions, as a mental health issue. Um, for me, I had a mental health issue, and that was a postpartum depression. For me, after having my first child, and it took years and it took extra work. I mean, most people could just come together and, have children. But for me, it was a struggle. It took me at least 6 years after being married to conceive my first child. And when I did have my first child, it was a struggle from the onset. Um, I didn't have too many health issues other than my feet were super swollen. Um, uh, but she was also late, and the doctors gave her 10 days extra. So I was walking around 10 extra days carrying my oldest. And then I got to the hospital and, was going through this labor only to not really go through the labor. And she didn't want to come out. And I was like, okay, I didn't want to do the epidural. I thought I was going to be brave and strong. And I surely gave in. And then it was like, okay, now we're going to have to do a C-section because she's not coming out. So it had to have a C-section. And then when she came out, um, I was not producing enough milk. And the whole latching thing, that was a struggle because she literally was waving at me and like slapping me and moving things out the way so she can breastfeed. But after sitting there for like 30, 40 minutes, she was still hungry and I could not understand. So I was definitely struggling with this pregnancy, not in the most serious sense. So I know that some women have had even more serious experiences than me and my pregnancy. Everybody's pregnancy is different, but for me, I frame it as a struggle. Um, and so when they told me, "Oh, your baby's losing weight, we're gonna have to supplement," I thought the world was just gonna just crumble around me because I was like, "What do you mean? I'm not feeding my baby enough, and she's losing weight. How's she losing weight? It's only been 48 hours, 24 hours." And so that was a struggle for me there. And then once they supplemented, um, I think by the time I got home, it was just me. My husband job didn't do FMLA for fathers or paternity leave at this time. Like my second daughter, oh, he had 2 weeks off, and it was an extra, and then he was able to take week vacation time. So it was just really cool. The second daughter, but the first daughter, he literally took all of a week, and I was at post C-section with this new baby who was not really trying to feel me on this breastfeeding thing, and just trying to struggle to get this connection um, between us. It was really hard for me, and I was struggling with the fact that, hey, it took me this long to get you here, and now it's this hard to 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 make you happy, because either she was crying about the pamper, crying about food, or just sleeping. And it was just, and then I'm trying to breastfeed, and she was waking up every 2 hours, and it was crazy. And at one point I just felt like I wasn't going to make it. Like, this, what am I supposed to be doing here? I'm not this baby didn't come with a manual. And I know they say that all the time. Babies don't come with a manual. Every parent is different. But I was like, come on now. This is too much. And I think I expressed it to um somebody. It wasn't my mother. But I expressed it to somebody, and they said, "Well, you know what? I could come over, and so that you can sleep, because that's another thing. I wasn't getting no sleep. She was up every 2 hours. So I was sleep deprived. And so going to the connection of the systems, right? My physical body was tired. So my mental health was declining because I was physically tired and not having the time for my brain to recover. It was just, now, instead of just being one part of the system, it started to affect all parts of the system. Spiritually, I was like, God, what is this for? What are you doing to me? What did I do wrong? Like, how can I make this right? Because it just was not going right in my mind. And so it was really um interesting that it was undiagnosed, because I wasn't going to the doctor. I was too tired. There was no time to go extra extra visits. Um, but it did help, that I told somebody, and she said, "Well, I'll come over." Now that's just coming over, just 2 hours for me to take a nap. But it helped. It felt really good to get those extra 2 hours. And after just falling down into a corner and just crying and screaming and being in my little fetal position on the floor, it was like, something's not right. I need to pull this together. Something's not right. And so, like I said, I never did go to the doctor, but I had come to a realization that what was happening was definitely a breakdown. I did some Googling, and I was calling it, in my mind, I was calling it just a mental breakdown. Um, which it could have been, again, undiagnosed. But I started Googling and found out that there was a name for this. There was postpartum depression. And what I was feeling was semi-normal, or to this, not normal, but to the extent that people are aware of it. It means common, maybe. Um, so I was like, oh, so that's what was happening, because I really thought I was losing it. And then I just, it said, if you're feeling this way or that way, then tell somebody. And so that's what I did. And early on, I wound up getting help from one of my senior friends who had just recently retired, and was actually not recently retired, but was working from home, and had really just changed in circumstances where she was home, to be able to come and help. And so then I had my mom come and cook. And then somebody else came over, and they cleaned up my kitchen. And so I got the help that I needed, that I didn't know I needed, because I just thought I could do it all. Like, really? Moms do it all. Moms cook for their kids and Don't moms clean up their house, right? But I was too new in the game to be trying to do that struggle on that struggle bus by myself. And so that's how I was able to identify, you know, that postpartum depression is a real thing, and it is something that affects your mental health. So that was my experience with mental health. Um, and it was before I really knew what it was. Now, did I know about mental health issues like schizophrenia or um, depression? Yes, but I wasn't depressed, right? But now knowing and having this increased knowledge and understanding and this push now, even in society in general, to help people to become aware of the mental health challenges that people may experience day in and day out. Either they might not know it or they know, but just don't know what to do with it. And so when we talk about it's okay, sis, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not want to go through that checklist of cleaning all in one day. It's okay to just take a nap in the middle of the day. And I still struggle with that. Um, um, yeah, I still struggle with that because I really thought that, I'm supposed to be working. This is my job. I'm working this. I'm an entrepreneur and nobody else is going to do it. I got to do it myself. But my husband had to tell me a few weeks back, who said you can't take a nap? I was like, well, I can't take a nap because I'm a business owner. I'm a business owner. I can't take a nap in the middle of the day. And he's like, no, you're a business owner who makes your own schedule. You can take a nap in the middle of the day. And I was like, thank you for that permission slip because I really didn't think it was okay for me to take a nap in the middle of the day. But the truth of the matter is, if your mental health is in the throes of all the things that you're doing, then the best thing to do is to take a step back and address whatever it is that is causing your mental health to decline. It's about checking, even if you have to Google, it's about checking in on what are some ways that you can de-stress. What are some ways that you can get your mind off those things that are wearing you down? What are some things that you can do to relax, relate, release, right? Wusa, meditation, prayer, um, long walks, um, laps in the pool, reading a book, a cup of tea. What are those things that you can do to de-stress or to um, relieve yourself of any mental health stressors or pressures? Go ahead and drop that in the comments. What are some things that you can do to, what are some things that you are already doing maybe to make sure that your mental health is in check? Go ahead and drop those in the comment field. But at the end of the day, mental health awareness is the recognition that your mental health is important, that there are things that may be going on physically that can be attributed to the lack or depreciation of your mental health. So, when we're talking about mental health awareness and what it really means, it really just means that you're taking care of your your physical, your spiritual, and your mental health systems so that you can work and live optimally at your highest and your best because they all work together. It means that you are addressing the things that are weighing you down. It means that we talked about last, if you're not on my email list, make sure that you hit me up on the DMs and let me know that you want to be added to my email list. Because in my email list, last month we were talking about decluttering. And one of the topics was about letting go, right? And we want to let go of those things that are not helping us, those things that are hurting us, those things that are taking up space for no good reason, like those little knickknacks that we collect every time, or those key rings that we collect every time, or those magnets that we collect every time we travel, or go anywhere. We decide we're going to take um get a photo frame, and then it's sitting there with no photo in it. You just bought it because, or those things in your closet that you no longer fit. They no longer serve you because they're 2 sizes, 4 sizes too big, or 2 sizes or 4 sizes too small, right? It's okay to have that goal weight, but by the time you work it all the way out, you may not even be interested in that outfit anyway, because you're going to be too cute to wear that anymore, right? So mental health awareness, what it really means is that you are aware that your mental health is important, and that things that come against your mental health, or things that impact your mental health, and we talked about some that we can't change, like genetics, um, you know, those things that you can change, like self-care and taking walks and doing things like that. What are you doing to address or to recognize that your mental health is important? Well, I hope that you were able to gather something today about what mental health really is. But proper, just to wrap up, proper mental health awareness includes the positives and the negative elements um, of the mental health system in the body. And you want to always strive for mental health well being just as much as you would for physical well being. Think of them as a system, think of them as something that goes together. Because if you're physically out of shape, it can wear on your mental, because your mental might say that I can't walk up those stairs. I can't ride that bike. I can't. Your mind might start telling you that because of your physical condition, and vice versa. So I want to make sure that during this month, mental health awareness is top of mind for our conversations. So I'm just starting it off for you to let you know, to kind of address what mental health awareness really is, or what it really means. But I'm going to be inviting some guests. Yes, we're going to invite some guests to the Mompreneur community this month, so that we can continue the conversation about um, mental health awareness, whether it be um, grief, being able to grieve properly so that your mental health condition doesn't stay in the state of grief, whether it be about the continued conversation of children, how to deal with our children in depression, or um, who may be dealing with some mental health conditions recently. Um, or it might even just be about you and how to maintain your mental health, or positive or strong mental health condition. What does that look like? Would it be self-care? So we are going to talk about that for the month of May. So definitely join us live if you can. I will try to make sure that I post in advance so that you would know that we're going to have special guests and that you would want to join us live. But in the meantime, I do hope that you hit me up so that you can be on our email list to receive the Free Up Weekly. So that's our Free Up Weekly, is our email newsletter that we send out every Friday. Um, and if you would like to join, remember, as a part of this group, as part of the Mompreneur HQ community, you get a free 20-minute clarity call session with me at www.themompreneur.hq.com/clarity-call, where we can talk about your business needs or with business plan, and how you want to go or grow, and if we're a good fit to work together. So you let me know. That calendar appointment is available at the website, clarity-call. And as a 20-minute conversation, free of charge to you in the community, where we can help you get started on your entrepreneurial journey. But you have several homework assignments at this point. Let me know what you think about BFFs. Mompreneur HQ being the place for your BFFs, or Mompreneur HQ being your BFFs. Um, and then also let me know what it is that you're doing to make sure that your mental health is in prime state. And we can't control everything. So some things are going to happen, some things we're just not going to be happy with. But what are you doing to make sure that you are in a positive state? All right, until next time.